Welcome to Credit Card Junkie. Today I'm going to be sharing with you all the credit cards that I have. Total right now of credit limit that I have is about $60,100 all in here. I like to keep things nice and tidy, so I keep them all in here. And I also have a notebook where I write everything down as well, especially when I get a new credit card, how much I have to spend on it, all that kind of stuff. But I'll talk about that in other videos. But for now, let's get into all the credit cards that I have. So here we go. So the first card that I have is a virtual Visa debit card. And I got this card from the Royal Bank of Canada because I couldn't get anything. And this is a few years old, a few years ago. I remember getting it. I was like, yes, I'm so happy. I can actually book a hotel, take my wife out of town, all that kind of stuff. And then when we got to the hotel, I realized that these virtual Visa debit cards are good for nothing. You can only purchase stuff online. You can book hotels, you can book car rentals, but once you get there, you need a secured credit card. I did not know that until I got there. Pretty embarrassing, pretty humbling. So then I called my daughter and asked for her credit card, gave it to me, off we went. When I got back to town, I contacted my branch manager, booked a meeting, said I need a credit card because this is embarrassing. I have no credit cards. Sorry, I know Dave Ramsey goes off on credit cards, but in Canada, it's kind of a big deal. You actually feel like a human being. I know that sounds weird to say, but you need a credit card. You need some kind of a relationship with a bank, a lender, mortgage, whatever it is. You need some kind of a relationship to build credit for them, for banks to be able to give you money or to lend you money, to give you a mortgage, all that kind of stuff. In the States, maybe it's different, but here it's a big deal. So anyways, she suggested that I go to Capital One. RBC sending me to Capital One. So I go to Capital One, I apply online for a credit card, and they gave me the gold credit card. This one has a credit limit of $1,000. And originally it was supposed to be one of those credit cards where you actually had to give some money up front, but they didn't do that to me. They just gave me $1,000. There's an annual fee of about $76, I believe it is. So it's a little high on the annual fee, but this was my first credit card. So then after a few months, I decided to apply for another credit card, and that was the Capital One travel card. Got that, and they gave me a generous credit limit of $15,000. That was pretty cool. And then I also applied pretty much at the same time for a Capital One cashback card, and that basically gives you 1% on all your purchases. So that could add up after a while as well. Then they gave me a credit limit of $7,500, which was pretty cool. And then about a month or so after that, I applied for a President's Choice card. They gave me a limit of $1,000 because we always go to Sobeys, we always go to the Superstore and Shoppers Drug Mart because I have asthma and that's where I get my medication. So we also have Optimum points, so that helps. And then actually PC Choice, or President's Choice Financial, actually combined Optimum points with the credit card as well, so that's kind of cool. So I like that. I like collecting points for that. And then shortly after that, I went back to my branch manager, applied for an RBC credit card, and they gave me the Avion card. Now this one has a credit limit of, originally it was about $4,000, and just a few days ago they increased it to $11,000 because I've been managing my credit card perfectly. I'm very happy. So obviously when you do that, we use it quite a bit. So they probably saw that I was getting close to about $4,000 every single month on that credit card. So then they increased, even though I pay it off, I still like to put a lot of money onto my credit cards to show them that I'm actually using my credit cards. I'm not just grabbing them just for the points and that kind of thing, but I'm actually using them. So, and I like it. We actually used it when we went to Seattle, and we rented a nice Jeep, Chrysler Jeep. That was pretty cool. Drove around Seattle. It was very fun. Went and saw the Blue Jays. Had a fun time there. So that was cool. The car rental was free because we racked up enough points. So that was a pretty good day. We were there for actually a weekend. So that was pretty fun. Then I applied for the Capital One Costco card because I'm actually a member of Costco. So I thought, why not get a card? A few years before that, I couldn't get a card. They just would reject me. And then I applied again. Got one last year in the fall. So that was cool. Then I decided to apply recently to American Express, and I applied for 2 cards at the same time. American Express Essential and then American Express Air Miles. So I got those as well. You can see the credit limits on there, 2,000 and then 6,600 respectively. And then again recently I just got the Bank of Montreal Sobeys credit card, Air Miles credit card, because I shop at Sobeys quite a bit. There's actually a Sobeys across the street from us, so I'm in there quite a bit. And then last of all, I got the American Express Blue Sky card that has a credit limit of $6,000. And that is a fun card because all my points are travel points right away, dollar for dollar. So you basically spend $1, you get a point, which is pretty cool, and that could rack up pretty quick. And I plan on redeeming those when we book some flights later on in the year. If I spend $500, which I am pretty close, I think I've spent almost $200 on it so far. Yeah, we plan on going somewhere late August. I'd like to go maybe to Mexico or somewhere. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm trying to rack up points, and then I can see where I can go. If it's Mexico, maybe it's Arizona. I don't know yet. We really like Mexico, so that's cool. And my sister right now is in Turks and Caicos, so we can go there as well. So that's a possibility. But there's my credit cards. Like I said, total value right now is $60,100, and I try to keep track of everything with apps on my phone. And obviously, if you're not careful, you can spend a ton of money and go crazy with all this stuff. But before I got these credit cards, I actually was budgeting for about a year, almost 2 years. Every week we would just go through the books and figure out how much everything cost. And then we would just write everything down. Now I know off by heart. I know how much we spend at a grocery store on average every 2 weeks. It's about $600. So if you have a credit card, we try to put probably 90% of our stuff on our credit cards. And between the two of us, we'll probably make about 100 grand, I would say. Pretty close. And so yeah, so I have $60,000 in credit cards. So a lot of that will go towards the credit cards so that we can travel, all that kind of stuff. So there you go. So that's a little bit of the history of my credit cards from Credit Card Junkie. If you like this video, feel free to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel because in a few days I'm also going to be revealing some more prepaid credit card numbers. So thanks for watching. Really appreciate it.